Okay. I'd like to call to order the regular November 3rd meeting of the Sylvania Township Trustees. Mrs. Contrada's stuck in a hazmat situation, so she won't be here for a half hour yet. So, Mr. Simcoe, would you like to call the roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Haddad?
Here.
Mr. Genoway?
Here.
Simcoe? Here.
Would all rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing on our agenda is reviewing the meeting minutes of all the previous meetings, which special meeting on September 29th, I'm sorry. I don't see anything wrong with that one, do you?
No.
Okay. And then we have the evening meeting. Which was a public forum for the refuse collection.
Most of these are relatively short. Special meetings.
Right. I think all those would be in order. I think we have regular minutes to approve, or
We really don't.
okay. Well, then I don't think we'll have any discrepancies. So meetings will stand approved as submitted.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I have a motion 10-408 that we need to add under the fiscal officer, please.
Okay.
Kevin, I have one matter that we'll have under the fiscal and has to do with a credit card for Signature Bank that I thought the board should be informed about before we go forward with it.
Okay, do we want to put that under fiscal?
Under fiscal.
Okay, that's good. John, do you have anything else extra?
Nope.
The only thing that I'm going to talk about is a couple brief discussions on, one is going to be the geothermal. We'll put that under the fire department since no one's here from the fire department. And Tom Stokes is here to talk about our progress in the fire department where we're at right now. And I think that's about it. If we come up with anything else, we'll get there when we get there. Do we have anybody signed in to speak?
Yep.
What's that?
Just hold on.
The sprinkler?
Yeah. No, we don't.
No? Okay, good.
Well, pardon me. I didn't see the gentleman back here. He would like to speak on the leaf pickup proposal. That's on the agenda.
Okay, but we can do that during that time.
That's fine.
Because we'll have a, discussion about it, public hearing. Okay, next on the agenda is zoning department. Anything for us, Tim? That was quick. No. Okay, we'll move along to Public Works. You're on, Greg.
Okay, thank you. Public Works monthly report for October has been submitted for your review. Quite active with item number 1, the drainage ditch improvement on Sylvania Avenue between 10 Mile Creek and the Fire Station number 4 driveway. This is sort of a joint project between the Township Road Department and Lucas County Maintenance. We cleared out the wood, the debris, the brush and all that, and hopefully the county will move in within the next couple weeks and reestablish the proper drainage flow. Item B, we finished the brush pickup. If you notice the dates there, it was almost 3.5 weeks on the brush pickup for September. We performed a test run on the leaf pickup. Also, we're just finishing the first cycle of leaf pickup probably tomorrow morning by 10 or 11 o'clock. So by noon tomorrow we'll start our second cycle. We improved the salt brine supply line. That's the little small asphalt patch that you see here in the parking lot. we increased the supply line from its half-inch water supply to 2-inch, a 2-inch conduit. So instead of waiting for 2.5 hours to fill up our salt brine unit, fill it up in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and then we continue to pick away at the traffic sign upgrades, which is mandated by 2015. So
Right.
we continue to pick away at that with the stop and yield signs. Other information is posted for your review, pages 1, 2, and 3. Just received word today, Lucas County sanitary engineers will have sanitary upgrades on Blossman, Kelker, and Wilford. That project is going through. And I will add that to my tracking list. In fact, I already have it. It's item number 10. So that's what I have for the monthly report.
When are they gonna finish the blacktop out here so we get those cones out of the way, or is it done the way it is right now, Patch?
Well, we could remove the cones. We're still letting the aggregate settle. That was about 650, 550
Okay.
or so.
So are we gonna get a top coat on that or no?
We hope to.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because I know they're gonna shut down the asphalt companies pretty soon. All right.
I did want to, I got my Ohio Township Association magazine at home, and one of the first things I noticed was it says that the township doesn't have the authority to work on any ditches other than if it impacts a roadway. And I was just concerned. Do you get that same magazine?
I do.
Did you see
Yes.
that in there?
There's a, if I'm not mistaken, there were 2 or 3 different entries on ditch cleaning. Yes. Where petition, property owners can petition to have ditches cleaned and such. So
That's something we can discuss later.
Yeah.
I saw it today, this morning, so it was fresh in my mind, but I'll get with you and make sure that we're
It's a good
doing
idea.
it right. Okay.
Because we have to stay fund, you're right.
Said it was the county's obligation and not a township's unless it impacts a road. So,
I found a county road, that's a good idea.
there might be some deviation, actually, what OTA published compared to home rule
Home rule
townships
township too.
as well, so.
okay, yeah.
We can look into that with our legal counsel if we have to and see where we're at on that one too. Because our new administrator starts next week and let him start doing that stuff. Okay. We're going to discuss the Cleanwood Recycle quote. Ms. Contrada just came in and she's getting ready to come in here. And we'll open a public hearing on that real quick. Would you like to speak? Mike, Mike? We're on the Cleanwood Recycle.
Pardon?
On the Cleanwood Recycle. Download your meeting for about to catch up. You're alive? No. You don't have any rice in there or nothing? I wouldn't speak. Okay, Mike, you can go ahead and explain your contract here that you want to submit.
If most of the trustees or residents aren't aware, the county has elected not to fund or have any involvement with the yard waste drop-off program in Lucas County starting January of 2011.
Correct.
We have approached all municipalities and asked for their involvement and some financial participation to help the program keep running in its current form. So we have given Greg Hoffman pretty much a breakdown of how many township residents use the facility, how much material they bring to us, actually we gave a half price on it, and that's where we kind of came up with a number that you guys showed there, well, towards what it could be, and then we reduced it on a price to do something for the township.
So you're offering to us 1 year at 75,000, and if we take the 5 year, 55,000 per year?
Correct.
Keep the same situation going?
Correct. And that also means that the township, which they do now, bring me all their material from all their brush, they'll do brush pickups. They bring me all the leaves that they pick up off the street, and any other entity that the township has brings their material over to me now as it is. Now, that 55,000 would include all of that.
You guys have any questions about this, or want to see anything about it? You got it?
I'm still
Here.
decompressing.
It's okay, you're all right. Double click on it. There it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this would include the township residents that currently use the system as it is?
Correct. It would include any township resident. So the people that haven't used it in the past, we'll make sure that they're aware of the ability for them to use it. I was at a Springfield Township one the other night, and the lady goes, "Why do you know I could use you over there? I thought you were just for commercial companies." So there's still residents out there, believe it or not, we've been there 15 years, that don't believe, are unaware that we're there for them.
Okay, and I have a question for you. You did submit a proposal to the township itself for just taking our leaves and brush that we currently do this time of year?
Right.
Which is approximately, what was it, Greg, 12,000 a month, or 11,500 or something?
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm the one who highlighted this area. The blue represents what the
10.5.
township crews
So
deliver.
is this going to be included in the 55,000?
Correct.
or
That
additional?
55,000, if you elect to do the 5-year deal, that includes the material that Greg and his road department brings me now.
What, do you guys want to discuss this, or would you want to hear about this right
You know, given the financial situation the township's in, I don't really know if we're going to be able to continue to provide this option for the residents. I mean, it has been being picked up by the county, and I don't know in our budget if we've got that.
55,000 a year?
Yeah. And Greg, what about the site at Centennial and Sylvania?
Yes, sir. That's a site that we have typically used. Over the last 2 or 3 years or so, we've been dumping at Clean Wood Recycling for free. But as we dump at the Sylvania Avenue Centennial site, we do incur some equipment rental and some maintenance, some upkeep of that. I thought that it would be appropriate to present this to the board for their consideration. Also, with the upcoming new administrator, I'd like an opportunity to chat with him as well.
He's here.
You know, and so perhaps we could follow up next month with additional comments or so.
I'm just getting up to speed on
That's
where we are
okay.
on the agenda.
You're okay. Take your time. You're in a hazardous situation.
It was
I know
not
it's
a,
gonna be
it was
lot
not
of
a biohazard, but they're still there, so.
stress. That's okay.
I think that I would like to consider this, and maybe we could, I think that's a good point, talk about it with Mr. Zeitler, and we need to maybe test some of these figures within some of our budget projections. I think that would help us know how the numbers are going to play out. So why don't, Jim, are you in a position that you could work with Greg over the next few days and maybe try a couple of different contract options? And
Yeah, because we got some time.
Yeah,
Correct. Yes.
Okay, Mike, thank you very
All
much.
right.
really
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Okay, we're at fire department, and since you're here, I'll let you take over.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Or you want me to continue on it?
Well, no,
We got Tom
I
Stokes here to give us construction updates. And
do apologize. I don't know if you informed the audience where I was.
Yes, I did.
And I had no idea that being in a hair salon was so hazardous.
It isn't, not mine.
But I was very impressed with, since we're on fire, how our fire department handled it. They kept everybody really safe. You're frowning at me, Mr.
Oh, I'm
Mayor.
just not aware of what's apparently gone on, that's all.
There was a possible hazmat situation over at the...
Oh, well, I was getting my nails done up at the Wingate, and trucks started piling in, and apparently in the hotel, there was someone on the watch list who had released some kind of substance, so the building was quarantined. And Toledo Hazmat was called in, and we've all been there for a while. And we didn't know how long we were going to be, but then the latest is that we were to be evacuated immediately, so I don't think I'm contagious. That's what I meant when I said I was decompressing. It was like, so that, just teasing Mr. Haddad, that, going to a beauty salon, you just never know. But anyway, our crews did a great job reassuring a lot of ladies with their hair in foil that they were okay, and it is a serious situation. I don't mean to make light of it at all, but that's where our fire department is. That's where Chief Lee is there, and Chief Kowalski is there, and pretty much all of our firefighters are still there, so I really don't know what it was, but it was, I don't know if, we couldn't see whether there was media there or not, but we've been there a while. So anyway, it's a unique excuse for being late to the meeting.
Okay.
So that's my fire department report. I was very impressed with how they dealt with the women that I was with and one person. So I do apologize for being late. And I guess we'll just go on to Tom's report.
Yes.
I really have nothing new to report. It's on schedule. We're making great progress. There's hardly enough room to walk on the site. They're making progress with the masonry, expected to be done by the end of the week. They expect to start the roof the first of next week. The utilities that we're rerouting were on the south side of the property. That's underway. That'll be done by the end of the week. The conduits will be in by the end of the week. We have to just wait for the utilities to come when they do, but at least we'll be ready. I wanted to say, fire station number 3, I've got the punch list that I've been trying to research to see what the status of it is, and I made an appointment. I haven't set the time yet, but next Monday, I'm meeting HARP at the site with Chief Kowalski to go through the list one more time and give him a chance to finish it within an agreed period of time, maybe 1 or 2 weeks.
What's our agreed time to have that done by, according to the original contract?
I don't know what I don't have a copy of the contract. I don't know. But
I thought it was like 90 days afterwards? After the completion of the project.
For what?
They were supposed to get their punch list done within 90 days after the completion of the project.
anyway, that's the plan.
I know.
I only have 2 things in front of, for the board. One is the list of extras that has been published by the architect under PR number 1, proposal request number 1. There were some 17 items that the township, I don't know the history of it, but the township and the fire department felt that there should be some changes based on what they had learned along the way on fire station number 3. And the list was given to the contractor. The contractor has come back with estimated costs. Unfortunately, I think it's important that Chief Kowalski be a part of this dialogue because he was provided a copy of the list along with you, and I had asked him to prepare to make comments on how important these things were to him, and if he's not here, I don't think we should really talk about it today.
We can put that on hold, can't we?
Oh, yeah.
Until he gets here. I'm sure he'll be here by the time you're out of there.
Well, he
might.
may or may not,
Yeah.
depending on, what they've got going on there, and I think that that's right, but
All right.
let's...
The only other thing that I have is the Commercial Comfort Systems, which is a subcontractor to Midwest Construction, the general contractor, has made a proposal that I presented at the last meeting regarding some modifications to the ground source heat pump at fire station number 2. At our last meeting, it was decided that we would take a written proposal from him. He brought it verbally, but provided us with something written, and I was to give it to JDRM, the HVAC engineer for the project. I gave a copy to the architect, and I reviewed a copy. The engineer, and we were going to wait to see what they said. Well, the engineer had come back and hasn't the knowledge to make a decision upon it, and said that he didn't say that it was a bad thing, but he couldn't make an educated comment on it. And as a result of that, Commercial Comfort has contacted some users and another
Contacted who?
other users
Other
of this
users,
type of
okay.
system,
And engineer.
and an engineer and an architect. And I got a letter from Norman Associates to Jeff Norman, who I respect. He wrote a real nice one-page letter commenting about how he supports the use of this system, and I would have to endorse that, if that's what his comment was. And we really need a decision from you tonight, because we need to start drilling next week.
Okay, so JDRM was neutral,
Neutral.
basically. They didn't have enough, and without having our experts verify it, you went out to get other information.
Right.
And you, from your research and what you have received, feel that, feel
Yeah,
confident not remaining neutral.
I'm comfortable with it now.
Okay.
I'm going to make 2 comments on it myself. When I was over at the meeting today at the fire station, they were discussing that, our wells are going to be underneath the driveway. And that's going to be a whole big thing before they pour the apron. So with this new system, we don't have to be underneath the driveway, and it's not going to cause any conflict with that area. It's going to be to the right, the left of the driveway, closer inside the building, because we don't have to drill that big of a holes with this type of a system. So I thought that's going to save us a ton of money too in time. And I don't know, Gary, do you have anything you want to say about it?
No, I would agree that actually it helps with the compaction issue, because if you put it over the driveway where you got the fire trucks driving over it, you'd have to compact that differently than you would. So another advantage of the geothermal system, the waterless system, would be that we can put those wells outside of that driveway. So I would agree with that.
Could you identify yourself and your address for the record?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's Gary Graver, it's Graver, with Commercial Comfort Systems.
Thank you. Tom, did you, in your customer research, talk to anybody who had a commercial use?
I read letters. There were some letters that came in support of it.
This guy.
Just a minute.
That's what I'm trying to show you.
I can't listen to
I
two
know, go ahead,
people at
go
once.
ahead, go ahead, listen. This guy.
There was some, Commercial Comfort provided some supporting documents from other users of the system that supported its use, and I read those, and that's, was important. But I think the comments that I got from the architect, who really doesn't have, well, I guess none of them have anything to gain by their comments. They support it, and
Yeah.
it's unbiased, so
So when do you need a decision from?
it'd be nice to have a decision today, because we want to start drilling next week.
All right. Kevin, you want to offer a motion?
Yeah, offer motion 10-409 it would be, that we go ahead and change the geothermal system in the station to a more modern system, and I noticed that it does have a lifetime warranty with it, which is much better than the other system, so.
How much?
No cost. No cost differential. So it's not going to be a dime more. That's why I said it, that's why it was a win-win.
Wait, we're in the middle of the
Well,
motion.
We're in the middle of the
We're in
motion,
the
sorry, Al. So that's what I offer, motion to change the geothermal system to
DX.
the DX geothermal from the standard geothermal that's in the original bid.
Second. Any discussions?
Sorry.
Would you like to mention the cost differential and the warranty?
There is no cost differential, and it's a lifetime warranty compared to the other system.
Right.
Okay.
I think that should be noted.
Yes.
Yes, you're right. Sorry about that during my motion. Dave called it.
It's going to be a really complicated motion.
Call the roll. Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes.
That's really all I have. You have a desire for me to stay, or?
Why don't you stay until we're done with the next two motions?
Okay.
Also up for our consideration is motion 10-406, motion to approve underground utility relocation and authorize Susan Wood to execute formal change order. And I will offer that motion. This involves moving Transtar Electric, Buckeye Cable, I'm sorry, this is a cost for Transtar Electric, Buckeye Cable, Toledo Edison, and Frontier Phone, those three utilities.
And, second the motion and then some discussion on it.
Sure.
I did look at the price. The original price from Edison was over $8,900 with the original bid that Mr. Thomas had that we weren't privy to or knew about, because this could have been done pre-construction. There was some contentious moments today during the meeting between Transtar and the architect. But I said, when I look at the overall costs, it's, if we take that $7,000 out of the Transtar bid, it leaves us $7,300 for just digging the trench and putting the conduits in, which Edison was going to charge us for in the original bid. Buckeye Cable's the most expensive, but that's their price. They haven't changed that at all. And Frontier Phone is to drop the lines below grade. So
Which is a good
Right.
safety feature. I'm glad you identified that. So, I mean, this is something we have to do, and
Correct.
like you said, we
have no option.
have no option.
No, it's not something that's a change order. It's just something that has to go through.
Yep.
So, do you have any comments?
Nope.
Call the roll. Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes. Then, next, under for our consideration, I will offer motion number 10-407, motion to approve change order with Wing Plumbing Company for Fire Station number 2 and authorize Susan Wood to execute formal change order. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, some discussion on this. As Jeff Kowalski and others from the fire department have reviewed some of the functioning of Station 3, they found a need for additional storage. So, and
We're eliminating the bathroom.
we're eliminating the bathroom. If you want to sort of flesh this out, this is actually for a net deduction of $564, but it is a change.
Yeah, part of PR number 1 was the architect published with some changes that the fire department saw. Jim Wing responded to the list, and the most major item on the list was the deletion of the bathroom. I mean, it was a bathroom that was used for, it's called a dirty bathroom, where they come in after a fire, but they found out that the way they operate, they go into this locker room, and they don't even use that bathroom over there on number 3. So, with the need of additional storage, the bathroom was deleted, and there was a couple of drains and some minor things that were a part of the list, and the net result was a deduct cost for his items. And we want to do a change order because the work really has been done already because it's underground.
I really appreciate you and everyone working with the fire department, getting input, and it makes sense.
Yeah, we're getting along real well with Jeff.
Yeah. Any other discussion?
Call the roll.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that added. Anything else for the fire department?
Yes, we were talking about the station too, but that doesn't have to include anybody. I asked to get an approximate price of what it would be to heat the runway coming out for the first 50 feet where the trucks would be at, so it would not cause a sliding situation. But the cost is pretty high, it's $15,000 to $20,000, so I don't think we want to invest in that. It's up to you guys to talk about that too.
Well,
We don't have to do it right now.
who did you talk to?
I talked to Cole plus Russell, and then he just sent me an email, just got it just in a second.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's still a reasonable consideration. We certainly want to get,
I mean, it's $15,000 to $20,000, and it wouldn't involve anything else cost-wise, because we have to put salt on it or keep it nothing for the first 55 feet of it?
That's something that I think would be good to talk about with Jeff Kowalski
Okay.
and John Lee, and when they're here, if they make it tonight, then, maybe we can bring it up again, but we can discuss this over the next week or so. We've got time on this one as well, but that's a good idea. Anything else on the fire department?
Nope.
Okay. We'll move to the police department. It does not look like we have a report, but nonetheless, okay. Anything for Chief Bunny?
I do a couple things that, we're still dealing with speeders and issues. A friend of mine, she emailed us as a board and said that, that she's tired of people speeding up and down Quarry Road still. They're still going 45, 50 miles an hour over by the park.
Okay, 32, 3300 block around the bend. Okay, I'll put a memo out to the crews to, step up enforcement there. I'll reiterate that.
And the only other thing I have is that when we were at the meeting in Springfield Township the other day, I spoke to their administrator and I spoke to Art Nevers, and they're really in dire need of police patrolling, so we're going to have to try to come up with a proposal for them, because as we noticed their levy just failed for additional police service, and if we can come up with something to help them out, let's see what we can come up with a price wise, because they don't have any policing, and the sheriff's department don't know if they're going to have the money to do it.
Well, we have an outstanding, I wouldn't call it outstanding. They asked us for a proposal some months ago, which we gave to them.
Right.
And it was kind of an à la carte proposal where they could choose from a menu of services from patrol to patrol plus detective plus 24/7, and there was a cost breakdown. So I think, I don't know.
Nothing should have changed since then.
Okay.
And with Richfield Township, I know I've talked to Mr. Nevers, and actually he left me a message. He was going to get back with me yesterday, but he said he wanted to talk to me again. But we had discussed, it's going to be very minimal, where we wouldn't really have to add staff or anything like that. It basically, for them, we could do something where when we have extra people, all he was looking for is about 40 hours a week of hospital patrol.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And emergencies.
Yeah, responding to calls and such. And certainly we could provide that patrol when we're, I don't think he's looking for overnight as much or what either. It's mostly like afternoon shift when we're at maximum staffing.
Yeah, actually, Art Nevers had called me a few weeks ago, and I said that he should just talk to Rob directly. Could get more information there and describe more of what he wanted. So I think we're probably going to be hearing more of this.
Okay.
And it is, I think, kind of a shock to the system for some of the townships that have not really done a cost analysis on these services to find out how much it does cost. And, of course, our first responsibility is to make sure that
Our residents.
that our taxpayer dollars are going to our taxpayers' services. And if anything is required that would necessitate an expansion of our police department for the benefit of another jurisdiction, that's a whole different kettle of fish. And those taxpayer dollars are going to have to pay for those services. But we might want to examine other possibilities too. So it's a fluid situation, and
Well, each of those jurisdictions are kind of a different animal.
Yeah.
Like, because Springfield Township would entail a lot. Springfield Township is a whole different thing.
Right.
I don't know how they would pay for it, quite frankly. If they didn't pass the levy to support the sheriff's department, I don't know how they could pay for us, but I don't think anything has really changed. There was some work that went into that proposal, and I think that we could pretty much just stand on that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, with Richfield Township, we could provide patrol as we have extra people, and perhaps bill them even on an hourly rate, especially if we investigate any of their things or what.
well, it's certainly a compliment to us. We were asked, not just because we're neighbors, but because we have a
That makes me feel
relationship.
And they're the 9th largest township right below us. We're the 8th, and they're the 9th largest township. So they're going to have a lot more cost than that.
Well, we've got Central Avenue, they've got
Oh, yeah.
Airport Highway, and,
Yeah.
it's just,
I'm real familiar with Springfield
I'm
Township.
sure.
And,
I
Okay.
would like to, again, I know, Rob, you're doing a great job. Just focus on Sylvania Township because, Springfield Township, in my opinion, has been getting away with not paying for the services we've been paying for years. And, I don't really see where it's our responsibility or how it's going to benefit the citizens of the township if we go outside of those borders. Certainly you want to be a good neighbor and do what you can in emergencies, but in order for us to ramp up our police department and things, I've got a problem with that.
Well, that's what, when I said explore other possibilities, we might want to talk about how a police jurisdiction works. We've a lot of times talked about joint fire districts, but we haven't really talked about police jurisdictions. And when we're, I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at the proposal in detail that went to Springfield Township, but it is very expensive.
It was more expensive than the county, so, I would assume they're going to turn to the sheriff's department before they come to us, which is just fine with me.
They may opt to go with a whole lot less service from the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Just what they can pay for. What went on the levy was kind of the Cadillac version to provide, I believe it was 3 crews or 3 crews and a sergeant on patrol at all times and investigate. If they can only pay for 1 or, 1.5 deputies per shift or whatever, that's what they may have to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you were to do a full cost accounting of, and I don't even know if that's the right phrase, I may be totally abusing that phrase, of what it would cost us to provide the service, it's not just the cost of putting another car on the road, it's all the contract details of additional officers and then added details of, it's more than meets the eye. In no way would I want to compromise.
I know it's a lot.
Yeah, but just responding to John,
sorry.
that it really is our first concern is to make sure that our services don't get compromised. And if you are expanding enough to take in a jurisdiction the size of Springfield, no matter how scaled down their services might be, you want to make sure that just the expansion alone doesn't compromise what we can do for our residents, so.
I kind of view it there, a lot of housing developments have gone there because their taxes are lower, and, we're paying for our police department, and they haven't. And, now they're in trouble, and I don't know, I think you sit here and think of what we've paid over the years and think, I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I know, okay.
Or not doing it.
All right,
But it'll keep coming up.
yes.
Anything else for police?
No.
Okay, before we, administrator, anything, Susan, from the administrator's department? Before we get to all these motions under fiscal officer, I would like to back up. I'm still trying to catch up with what I missed and briefly talk about zoning. Tim, did you get a call from a Mr. Finley today? I think it was Finley. Were you able to answer his questions? Are they zoned properly for what they want to do?
No.
Okay.
He can go to the Board of Zoning Appeals and ask for that use to be allowed in the industrial zone district. But it isn't stipulated as a permitted use now.
That's what I had recommended. I said you're probably going to have to go to the BZA. And then sticking with zoning, I received a call from somebody who wanted to lease some property in Sylvania Township, nice lease, to bring some jobs to the area, but he was not sure about zoning, and he had been talking to Tim, so I just wanted to make sure that they were able to talk to each other, and he knew what it needed to do. But we have had we had one resignation from our BZA, and potentially we'll need to fill a spot on our zoning commission. And are our job descriptions of that position current?
Mm-hmm.
What we need to do is, I think we need to get that out in the public so we can have people who want to serve on the township boards apply, send us a resume.
I prepared an article in the newsletter to go out also.
Okay,
We got several boards coming up, too.
I believe that's been sent to the paper, that notice.
We have somebody going on
It's on our
St. George this
website.
year. Aaron Black's going off. We have Tara's going off next year.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that everybody here knew that we had a couple positions opening up, and we, really encourage anybody who's interested in serving on these boards to submit an application. I think that we need to make those appointments soon so the boards can keep functioning, because particularly in the case of the BZA, are you down to 3 with an alternate? So the alternate has to come.
Well, we don't have the alternate.
Oh, you don't have an alternate, okay. So those, I don't think we can wait until the first of the year. That board has to keep going, so, if you know anybody, also, word of mouth is good, but it's better to publish, and,
Okay.
all right.
Sticking with zoning, how did Toledo City Council vote on that Sylvania Avenue property
I
last?
believe they approved the zoning and overruled the planning commission.
They did?
Yeah, it required a supermajority vote,
I knew that,
and
yeah.
I think they did that.
They got a
From what I can
supermajority?
determine.
Just curious. That's it.
All right, moving to fiscal officer.
So fiscal department has several motions. The first is motion 10-390 to increase appropriations in the permanent improvement fund. And this motion is to increase the building improvement line item due to the fact that we need to replace 2 of the HVAC units on the roof of the administration building, and to replace the water meter valve in the road storage building from the existing 5/8 inch diameter 2-inch, which we've done. We need to increase the valve diameter to supply the water velocity for the salt brine unit. And I think you heard about that a little bit, and the bills are coming.
Okay, I'll offer motion 10-390, motion to approve increase in appropriation in the permanent improvement fund. That amount is $14,400.
Second?
I'll call in a roll. Mrs. Contrada?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Jonathan?
Yes.
Is that everybody? Okay, we had next have motion number 10-391, and that's to increase appropriations in the general fund. And this motion is to increase the salary line item in administration. With the hiring of the administrator, the line item needs to be increased. And Mr. Zeitler is here to make sure that happens, or to offer his encouragement.
I'll offer motion 10-391 to increase appropriation in the general fund for the new administrator.
Second.
Hang on one moment here. Okay, we'll call the roll. Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes.
And we'll have next, we have motion number 10-392, and it is a motion to increase the appropriation in the general fund again, and that motion is to cover the motion that was passed on October 19th, 2010 meeting to give the Sylvania School District, it says bank here, but I believe it's $4,500, line item where we have to pay the monies from to not have any monies, have any balance remaining.
I'll offer motion 10-392, motion to increase the appropriation in the general fund.
Second.
Any discussion?
I personally would like to rescind the previous vote until we had financial information about the entity that's asking for the money. I think it's something that we do for any charity that we give to, and, I know I spoke my mind at the last meeting, but I have a serious problem when somebody sells the same goods twice. And band members were out selling, wrapping paper and cards and things and telling people that the monies were going for this trip. And as far as I know, every one of those band members raised $275, whether it came from their parents or through sales of this stuff, and then we funded it as well. So I don't know how we could have paid for the trip twice, and that does bother me. And I just don't think we had all the information or accurate information at the last meeting. And I would really like to see the books for this organization to see what they're going to do with the money. Because again, it is taxpayer dollars we're giving away. It's not just the 3 of us or 4 of us giving contributions, it is taxpayer dollars.
I think that we should stick to our protocol. I'm not exactly sure with this motion on the table, we can maybe move to table this and make a request of, I don't know if it's the band and orchestra boosters of both, or if it's band boosters of both.
I can tell you the whole story.
Well, but let's review what our protocol is. We always ask applicants who are making a financial request to present data, and we did not do that because there was a certain urgency, the trip is now. And I think we should take a look at their books. So what I think we can do is, we have a motion and a second. I can move to table this and have a request that comes and looks at the books, which is sort of an interim step. And then if we feel we need to make any further motion after that, if we make any further motion after that, based on what we find, are you comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay, let's continue the discussion before we do that.
Yeah. The money that was raised was for also Florida trip. And with the Florida trip and the trip going up to sister cities, because they send their bands and everything down here every year, and
That's not what they said.
I know, but I'm saying that's what they do, but I'll explain to you the whole thing. What basically it boils down to is that they didn't raise enough money for both trips. And then they asked the city to offset the cost and us to offset the cost. I do feel that we're kind of caught off guard. I do feel they need to raise all their own money for trips like this and not come to boards and ask them for these monies. And if we do go ahead with this amount this year, I don't think we should be funding them in the future, and they need to raise their own money, and parents need to kick in if they want to send them to Florida and stuff.
Being familiar with the band, I know that fundraising for Florida hasn't started yet. So the
I
fact
thought that was part of the money they raised for Florida.
No. At least how it has been presented to me. But I would like to see their books. So I think we can ask them, they could email us that or whatever, and we could turn this around very quickly. I am not opposed to doing now and thens if something happens that we've got to.
We don't have to do it now and then, we're just going to table this to
And their trip isn't until the 20th, so we do have a meeting in between. But I just would like accurate information.
And I think that that's available.
That's fair.
So I will move to table this motion.
Okay.
We'll note it, is there a second to table?
Second.
Okay, and Mr. Genowine?
Yeah. To table it? Yes.
To table it, yes.
Yes.
And this is Mr. Genowine, Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes. Okay. Next one. Dave, you want to tell us a little bit about, well, me too, I was trying to find it, about motion number 10-393, although we are getting a little bit faster here.
I'm not sure how the recording of all this is going. I think we're going to start opting to have Mr. Beck present these, because presenting the motions and then working the whole system up here is not going to.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be.
Yeah, no. 10-399 is motion, is motion for interfund transfer from the general fund. And the motion is to cover 2 shortfalls in 2 line items. The burial expense line item was short by $400 as we had a second indigent burial, and the auditor treasurer fees were short as the auditor's office has started charging a fee every time they handle taxes or estate taxes.
And you said 399, but you meant 393?
Oh, 393, I'm sorry, yes.
I'll offer motion 10-393, motion to approve intra-fund transfer in the general fund.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. This $400 on the burial account, I don't know why it's wrapped into this motion, I don't think it should be in this motion. Second of all, those people, when they called the day before they wanted the body released. He wasn't a resident of Sylvania, he'd just been here the last 6 months in a care facility before he passed away. And from what I saw in the obituary and the money that they had going to the party and everything, I don't know why we're stuck paying with this bill. And I was very upset about it. If it would have been a lifelong Sylvania resident, or even somebody who'd been here for several years, I could understand them coming and ask for that, but City of Toledo refused them the money because he was a lifelong Toledo resident, and they said, go to Sylvania Township, they're stuck paying for it. And I was upset that this amount was approved before discussing it on this board.
It has
But I don't know why it's wrapped up with the gypsy moth spray and the auditors and the public information too.
Is that what it costs to bury an indigent, is $400?
It was just to release it from the,
Actually, it's
Cremation.
$500.
yeah.
The nursing care facility where this individual stayed, I spoke with the caregiver. She confirmed that the person was a resident there for actually 1 year and 3 months, 1 year and 3 weeks. City of Toledo refused to consider the request because the resident had not lived in the City of Toledo for the past 12 months. That's where the delay of everything came with. The family was pursuing
trying to go to
the
Toledo.
City of Toledo this whole time. This rarely happens. I think this is my third or fourth over 20 years. And it just so happens, I think we've had 2 this year.
That's what I'm worried about.
Well, I mean, we make out on the other end on the estate taxes and things, so you take the good with the bad.
Well, and this is a statutory obligation, the cemetery, and I guess we should just be grateful it's not us.
Amen.
Susan and I reviewed the application, and after what I heard from the caregiver at the facility, I recommended to honor the request.
Any further discussion?
Calling the roll, Mr. Dunaway?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
No.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes.
Next, I have motion number 394, 10-394, and that is an interfund transfer in the road and bridge fund. And the motion is asking to transfer monies into the drug testing line item due to the number of random tests throughout the year, the testing for the new mechanic, and the temporary employees hired to pick up leaves. The cost has gone over what we anticipated, and therefore, when we prepared the 2010 budget.
I'll offer motion 10-394, a motion to approve intra-fund transfer in the road and bridge fund.
Second.
Mr. Dunaway?
Yes.
I was gonna,
Sorry.
that's okay, I wanted
I
a
beg your pardon.
brief thing. I was watching the gentleman at work the other day, we did have some breakage in the equipment, he was doing a great job rebuilding our leaf machine because they take a lot of use, so it's worth it, so.
Gotta have them working
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Just want to give that little comment in there. Go ahead, sorry.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes.
Next, I have motion number 10-395, and this motion is to transfer monies into the drug testing and training account as they are out of monies in the line item. This item only pays for random drug testing. It does not include costs for new hires.
Is this 10-395?
395.
I'll offer motion 10-395, approved intra-fund transfer in the fire fund, $500 for drug testing and training. Do you need the account numbers, or?
No, I don't think that's
Okay.
necessary.
Second?
Mr. Dunaway?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes.
We have motion number 10-396, and it is a motion to pay on the then and now purchase certificate. This motion is to approve a payment on the then and now to the Criminal Justice Training Center for 2010 contract service.
I'll offer motion 10-396, motion to approve payment of a then and now purchase certificate.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, what is this in regards to?
Mr. Beck, can you help us with that?
I can show you, here's a copy of the bill.
Mr. Gold.
It's to the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. So
Oh, that's for Norris, as far as our leads certification and that sort of, not certification, but for them providing services for us as far as records checks and all the things that we do as far as checking plates and things like that. I
All
believe.
through them?
I hadn't seen this before, quite frankly, that I'm aware of. Doesn't have my signature on it.
no.
That okay to pay, I sign all the ones, so that's why I'm not familiar with it. It's got to have something to do, and I can look into it. But CJCC is affiliated with Norris, Northwest Ohio Regional Information System, and it's all about providing, I don't want to say background checks, because that sounds like it's for applicants or what, but running criminal histories, running driving histories, running plates, running all that stuff.
Well, I'll move to table this motion until we can get more information on it.
Quite frankly, I thought it was a whole lot more than that, so that may be
Oh, that's good.
something a little bit different.
Yeah, until we know what the bill is, and since it's a then and now.
Yeah.
Do we need to pay this now, Jim? If it's a then and now, I mean, are they,
We'll just hold off until you approve it.
okay, okay.
To my knowledge, it's not an emergency, but anything over $3,000, we have to get approval to pay on a then and now.
The certificate's not spelled properly. Unless you have it spelled differently. You got that, Jim?
It could be, because I know it's,
See certificate.
in fact, I think I just actually signed off on a contract for the whole year of 2011. It wasn't billed quarterly, and I want to say it was about $19,000, which would fit with that being quarterly,
Yeah.
quite frankly. Now, why it wasn't billed for the whole year, well, that's before I was in this position, so I don't know.
Yeah, let's just get more information so we can know what we're buying.
Okay, I suspect it's for all those services, just for the 3-month period.
And maybe we can do 2011 in quarterly installments too, instead of the 19 grand at one time.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Okay.
So next we have motion number 10-397, is payment on a then and now certificate, is to approve a payment to Alliance Claim Service to cover the deductible in the suit by Ms. Toth.
Did that come from Nancy?
Yes, it had to.
Okay, I'll give it to her tomorrow.
Here's a copy of the bill, if you'd
Yeah, we
like.
got it. Who's this paid to for, in regards to her suit?
My understanding, that's our deductible through the insurance company for the suit, correct?
So, under our current property and casualty insurance contract, we pay for liability defense? Even, okay. Familiar with that type of situation or setup, but
Lucky you.
I guess I'll get more in tune to it.
I'll offer motion 10-397, motion to approve payment of a then and now purchase certificate. This is payable to Alliance Claim Service in the amount of $10,000. And it is our deductible for insurance defense.
Second.
And we did have good defense on this, and the case has been appealed. We, we won the first round, and then the plaintiff has dismissed her case.
Okay,
That's the current procedural status of the case.
okay,
But
I thought it
nonetheless-
was just moving forward, it's already gone through this, okay, so, yes,
I
that
think
makes
we
me a
have
little more
copy of-
comfortable.
Do we have a copy of the dismissal order?
I believe I do.
Okay,
And that's one where they bill us after,
that's not bad.
up front. Call the roll of Mr. Genoway,
Yes,
Mr. Haddad.
Did we second it?
yes, I
Mr.
did.
Genoway.
Okay. Yes.
Ms. Contrada.
Yes.
And I have motion number 10-398, it's to transfer monies from the fire grant to the permanent improvement. And the motion is to approve the transfer of monies from the fire grant fund to the permanent improvement fund. The receipt of $28,500 for the pervious concrete grant at station number 3 was received. The monies were received by the grant fund, however, the cost of the concrete application was expensed in the permanent improvement fund.
Okay. I'll offer motion 10-398, motion to approve transfer of monies from the fire grant fund to the permanent improvement fund.
Second.
Mr. Genoway?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes.
And that way, Jim, I think you have a motion to add.
Yeah, I was asked to write this very quickly tonight. Motion 10-408 to approve a payment of then and now certificate to Frontier. We have to pay that up front, and that's the amount, $10,614.26. It's going to be paid on a then and now certificate.
I'll offer that motion, 10-408. Purchase of a then and now certificate to pay Frontier for the cable relocations for the fault lines for the fire station 2.
That was on your list of items.
Second.
I'll call the roll. Mr. Genoway?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes.
And I had one more thing I had a chance to discuss with a couple of trustees, but Carol, you weren't here. This is, Jim will add to this, but it is an application for a credit card through Signature Bank, and we're attempting to consolidate our credit cards, I believe, through one bank. We're going with Signature Bank. It's necessary for me to sign various standard forms on behalf of the board. Jim, I believe the police would have a card, fire would have a card that they would use. The chiefs would be authorized, I believe, to be the signers on those accounts. The bills would be, in the past, I think we've had bills that have gone to the departments and they are routed to here to the administration building. We're changing that policy where the bills will come directly to administrative offices and go directly to Mr. Beck. We think it's just a little bit better practice for us to have. And we would close our accounts with PNC banks. We would have one bank that we are having our accounts with, our charge accounts, and we have limited signatures to those accounts in the police and fire. And I believe I might have an account there too for administration, but it would all be with a Signature Bank. And the documents that they have are a little bit more geared toward more of a private corporation, because they talk about board of directors and they talk about officers and the like, but they've advised Jim that we could utilize these forms that I have reviewed, their standard charge card application, and at this point, I suppose I would be signing on behalf of the township as the person responsible on these accounts. And so I wanted to let the board know, because Jim had undertaken the job of contacting Signature Bank and asked me to review this, and I have. But I thought that the board should be informed as to what we're doing. We think it's going to be a better process, frankly, and provide a little bit more accountability.
The one advantage that we're going to have is I will be able to review at any day, go online and review what's being charged to any of these accounts. Whereas now we have to wait until we get the bill, or it comes to the department, and then it comes to us, and it's a long process. Plus, Signature Bank has been much, much easier to deal with than the new PNC.
Than previously National City?
Yes.
I just think that we have had, we have had good success with some of our local banks. We've been trying to work with, on our investments and with Waterford Bank as much as we can, and with Signature Bank as much as we can, principally through their Cedars programs that they have, trying to keep our money invested locally. They have been very good to work with, because you can't really sit down face to face with them. They're willing to work with us on what we're doing. We think we get, we are checking always rates with other banks when we're doing our investment. Carol's on the investment committee and knows that. But so far, Waterford and Signature have been providing us competitive rates in a pretty tough interest rate market. So, but I thought, rather than just signing this after I reviewed it and chipping it off the board, I don't know that we think it's best to have credit cards with Signature Bank. I think it'll provide a little more accountability. And as Jim said, it's important he's able to immediately get online and check rather than waiting for something to come in. And not that we've had problems with credit cards at our end. We occasionally have problems with some of the banks. Be a little difficult at some of the vendors when we go in, because, for example, if my name's on a card and someone goes in to utilize it for the township, and if they're not known, then they are stopped. And that may be good, but I just think this is probably a little more accountability. So I just want to know that we're doing this.
Is there a downside?
I don't see any downsides. I think all upsides to it right now. That I think we'll have a little more accountability, we'll have better control of the accounts. What I do like is that the accounts are the bills are directly through the township. We don't have to. They aren't routed through the various departments. And that's what I think is from a checks and balances sort of thing. I like this system much better, and I like also working with the local bank. Just because when something goes wrong sometimes, or if you have a question, we all know it's easier to sit down and chat directly with them. They meet with us here on some of our other issues we're dealing with them, and so they've provided us good service, we think. We've been real pleased with our relationships with, I think Jim can attest to that, with Waterford and Signature. They've been very good to work with.
Well, speaking of local investments and the Cedars program in particular, I had asked you a few weeks ago about Cedars programs which actually make small business loans to local communities, and I didn't know if we had any more information.
I haven't got a response. I asked that.
Because it's a good way for us, through our investments, to have our investments pay dividends to the community in terms of local loans.
I did get, from Fran at Signatures, did say that when they participate in Cedars, when they get the CDs from other banks that are in the Cedars, they do take that money and loan it locally.
So I think that's good for us to know, and it's an extra benefit to our community.
They brought that up at the LCIC, that the county has moved their money into Signature and Waterford, and in the in the hopes that they will reinvest that in the small businesses in our community, seeing that there were no businesses that the LCIC was doing business with in the township. I at least took that as their contribution to our community.
Well, part of the difficulty in job creation is freeing up that initial startup loan money
Oh,
or
yeah.
expansion money, and it gives a local bank opportunity to loan where bigger banks might have a tighter fist. And we actually were in the Cedars program before the county was.
Yep.
And I think we may have more dollars invested in that program, even though we're smaller. So I think that speaks very well of the decisions that we've been making all the way along, and we need to, I guess, brag about that.
Yes.
This is a program that really does help.
This document I do have, one last thing does say, I think there's a little, maybe, lack of clarity in the call in the conversation Jim had. They seem to indicate that they didn't need any resolution or motion, but when I look at what I'm signing, it talks about a borrowing resolution. And so it talks about the board passing a resolution and authorizing me to sign. So maybe we should have a resolution just to cover ourselves, whether we do it or not.
Okay.
Maybe it would be good. And so, I don't know what the next resolution number is, but
411.
411, if someone
That's
would-
resolution, not motion.
Oh, did you want a resolution?
The
or motion?
Yes, resolution, it calls for it.
360.
360.
And
And we
would it be
did,
emergency?
it's basically a borrowing resolution with a signature bank.
Language there.
One of this, that's
How long when do you need this done?
Well, when we need it done is, Jim, probably within about 7 to 10 business days from the 27th, and so that's coming up. The card should be coming in, I think.
Cards are probably at the bank now, where we do need them at the police and fire
Yeah.
departments, because the other cards were canceled.
Okay, so we are really without cards right now, and
Okay.
so we would like to dispense with the first reading.
Okay, I'm gonna offer motion 10-360.
It's resolution.
Resolution 360, offer to get the charge card for the police department and dispensing with the second motion, a second reading and declaring an emergency.
Borrowing resolution.
Borrowing resolution, yeah.
And
I think
for the
it's-
police and fire,
Well, I think it's for the police and fire to have a charge card on behalf of the township.
Okay, well, police and the charge,
Yeah, I would-
fire department.
Go ahead, Jim.
If it's possible, I'd like to get all three, because we have a card here
So it'd be for
Administration too,
Police,
or
fire,
for
administration.
administration, right,
Administration.
right.
So offer motion, resolution 10-360 to get charge cards for the administration, fire and police departments.
Through a signature bank.
Through signature bank, and dispensing a second reading and declaring an emergency. We got it straight? Good.
Got it.
Good enough.
Second.
Call the roll, Mr. Genowine?
yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes.
And that's all we have.
Okay. Other?
Okay, I lost my agenda here, so, other, is there any other?
I don't have any other.
Moving to hearing of the public on non-agenda items, do we have anybody?
Yes, we have one person that wishes to speak.
Okay, Mr. Hayes.
Good evening, Al Hayes, 7040 Whitetail Court. You'll have to excuse me, I have a lot of little notes here, and I don't want to get them turned around. The format seems to be working, even though I brought new glasses, so I could see it from last time, but at least we can see that. Here's a note, it says, "Put the body in Kevin's truck." I don't know what that means, but anyway, on a more serious note, how is the overtime doing for the fire department? We were supposed to be monitoring that. And that was, I think, Mrs. Contrada asked to keep an update on that. How has that fared out lately?
We reviewed, well, for the fire department, we have not done the fire department budget review yet. But I'm trying to remember the most recent discussion that we had with Assistant Chief Pulaski. The scheduling of the scheduled part paid has been reducing overtime, but I don't have a figure right here for you. And we have reviewed that recently, and in fact, we do have an executive session scheduled for after this meeting, and one of the purposes was to review that in terms of how the personnel changes that might be required. But we would have part of that discussion out here. Does anybody remember any exact figures about overtime?
No, I know it was trending down, but I don't have any idea of where.
Well, that was just my question, that you are monitoring.
It is going down.
Because a couple months ago, we said it was, the report was it was better, but we didn't know how much better. Are we gaining 3 hours and losing 150? That was a question that I thought you would check into.
Yes.
The other thing is, I guess we need to keep the promise to pay back the general fund for the $60,000 payment on the fire department that was negotiated some time ago. I don't know if the other two trustees were there, but I think Mrs. Contrada was. And I don't think that's been paid this year yet. Or has it?
It has not.
And so do we anticipate paying that by the end of the year? Because wasn't that the way it was worked out at that time, that pay $60,000 a year?
That was what was scheduled in the 2010 budget, was a $60,000 payment.
Oh, what, 60?
Pardon me?
60,000.
60, correct.
Yeah.
That is in the...
For 2010, okay, yeah.
And then our projections, fast forwarding through the next 5 years, also included a $60,000 payment.
Correct.
We have looked at those numbers. We have an outstanding, we have some outstanding bills that we had not anticipated. There was that fourth quarter interest payment that came due. I don't know if you were at the meeting when we had that discussion.
That's where we didn't know where the bond came and monies came in for charge on a bond or monies for that? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, no, we did not have the payment schedule in time to budget a payment this year on that note. So now we're going to have to readjust the budget. We're looking at all available funds in order to be able to do that, because it was a significant charge to an otherwise too tight 2010 budget. And I anticipate that we're going to be discussing that issue when we have our budget workshop dedicated to the fire department, which is scheduled for
16th.
November 16th. So, but we have not paid the $60,000 yet.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, you're not sure that you're going to pay it yet?
We haven't talked one way or the other about it. But
wasn't that a commitment that we made because we had such a hullabaloo over the monies on the fire department?
That was what was put in the 2010 budget. That's correct.
Okay, so we're going to fulfill the budget and pay it? That's the question. I'm not putting you on the spot, I'm asking all of them. That was the deal. We had such an argument about the funding of the fire department. We keep going on with this fire department, and we don't keep it in check. We try, but we keep slipping. We always have some reason, something comes up. Somebody's not on the ball. You know it and I know it, that, hey, that money should be paid back. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to argue with you. That money is budgeted, it should be paid back, just like you told the public that it was going to be.
Well, if
whether you have other bills, that's your problem, not that particular
I understand. If you'll recall, last year, we had the same discussion, and I think we had maybe $50,000 budgeted last year, which we had not paid back, and we paid it in December. So,
and I think that was right after I brought it up. Yes, it was. Thank you. Anyway, one other thing, moving right along, we talked about the overtime, we talked about the $60,000. We seem to be getting out a lot of money, call it special interest and stuff, with our economical climate, I think we should still keep the wraps on all that, so we don't, just my opinion, so we don't get into fiscal problem, so we're not a school system where we're going back with the fire department or somebody else to the taxpayers, because we don't have the monies now. We bought the new trucks, we bought the new stations, and now we're not gonna have money to run it. I can just see the ball rolling here. I'm just a concerned citizen, I'm just bringing it up, not shooting at you guys, but, you know, you guys got the hats on, so thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go away.
I will close the hearing of the public, and I don't know that we're going to be in an executive session very long since our firefighters aren't back.
We have Deputy Chief Bowman.
That's right, we have that discussion as well. Okay, I will offer motion number 10-400, motion to go into executive session at 5:22 to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or, thank you, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee or official as authorized by Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
Yes.
October 29, 2010. It should be titled Fire Stations, Sylvania Fire Station Number 2, which there's a bunch of them on.
Yes.
When was it?
29th of October.
It has a little exclamation point next to it.
Architect's proposal request number 1, and it's regarding the September 20th proposal that was sent in, but the
Where's that?
TC Stokes.
It should be on your, no.
Got it.
I'll just look over Kevin's.
Okay.
Just to bring you up to date real quick on the incident that was going on down the street. The engine company just cleared, the dog went through the hotel, didn't find anything as we suspected. They just cleared the incident, and the hotel's back in full service right now, so just you're brought up to date on that. Basically what this email was is there's 16 different items that we went through originally to do some change orders from the new number 3 station to the current number 2's fire station. So I'm going to go through these point by point, and if I may, just give you some comments on each one to see how we feel about it, and then if you like to obviously comment, that's fine. But the number 1, change the interior wall finishes to an epoxy paint in lieu of ceiling room 113. What that is that's the radio room. In the radio room, talking to the guys and actually looking at the radio room, I think we should leave it as it is. It's more of a rustic look. It looks more like a firehouse. And so we'd like to do away with that $1,012.42 to paint that.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Number one, per room finish schedule specification, section 9, 6, and 13, replace all VCT with resinous flooring. Use a key resin company, Key Quartz B125, and they had a sample of that at the 2 construction meetings ago, I believe. Midwest would do this, and the price would be $15,458.36.
Is that the best price and the best company to use for that?
That's what Mr. Stokes advised. I can ask him to get some other prices if you'd like, but that's the best price he said he could find through Midwest.
I mean, I like resin flooring, it's permanent, we don't have to ever touch it in this lifetime.
Now, there is another we looked at alternative flooring materials. One was a stained concrete that we could use, which then you would have to go ahead and maintain also, seal it, maintain it. Another one where there's a higher end VCT. The VCT that's down, or VST that's down there now is a low grade, and there's a higher grade, even though Harp assured me that those floors were sealed twice. There's no way those floors were sealed twice. I've asked Lieutenant Reynolds to get me a price on getting the finishing materials, and if we can rent a scrubber and maybe go over there and redo the floors at the new Threes Fire Station to keep them up and running, as far as making them look better.
Well, they gotta fix the bad spots on them anyways.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and we're gonna meet on Monday on that.
Correct.
But I think that this is, even though it's $15,000 or $15,500, I think this would be a good add-on to do. I think this is almost a must for us to try to keep some type of an alternative flooring in there to get a better finish. The next item, replace all plastic laminate countertops with stainless steel countertops in the kitchen. This is a $10,000 price. This is one I put down would be nice, but it's not necessary. I mean, if we can fit it into the budget, it would be nice to have. It'd be easy to maintain. But if it's going to be 10 grand and it's going to put us in the high end of the budget or put us over the budget, I would rather do without it and use whatever they're using now.
My reaction is to do without it.
Okay.
I was wondering about using like chlorine or something, is that cheaper? Did anybody check a price on that?
What's that?
Well, they make a chlorine type product that's for commercial use, that's not as high quality as home, but it's a much lesser expensive than this. I think it's only maybe a $4,000 increase, or $5,000.
We asked them to look at the three, I think it was quartz.
Quartz, that's it.
Quartz is very expensive.
Corian, and the stainless, and I believe the stainless was the cheaper of all three.
Really?
Yeah. And I believe I can check with John on that, or Tom on that, and find out.
I have a real hard time justifying anything but plastic laminate at the
Okay.
fire station.
All right.
That's just my opinion.
All right.
That's fine.
But we went through this before with Station 3, and, I know, everybody wants upgrades if they can. I want upgrades that are really functional.
Okay, the key to...
I'd rather do the floor than do the countertop.
Right. The key to the laminate, I think, is getting the corners to fit well.
Yep.
And getting that seal.
Doing it properly.
Get a good company, because I'm not real happy with the company that did the
Yeah.
current number 3. Okay. I think we're all in agreement there.
Okay.
The next item is change the door from 120 to 48-inch wide single swing door.
Yeah.
Relocate the light switches on the gear room.
Didn't we already make that change?
Well, that's one of the proposed changes that we wanted to make. We're just waiting for the okay to do it.
Okay.
I guess they're going to add, Midwest is going to add $322.71. I'm assuming that's to close it in with the block because it's a smaller opening. The 48-inch door versus a 120-inch door, it's what the guys are having now. It's a double door with a double latch system on it. It's hard then to get in it, and then the switch plate is on the inside of the door, so they have to carry their gear, open the door, try to get around the back side of the door, turn the light on, and then put their stuff up. So we're going to put the light switch on the outside wall.
That's what I'm saying, if we put the light switch on the outside, do we really need to change the door?
Well, it's still a double door and it's hard to open and close. We wanted to go to a smaller door, and that would give us more storage on the inside if we bring that wall into a 48-inch, because we have some radio equipment, because that's an environmentally controlled room.
Yeah.
We want to put some of our extra portables and stuff in our radio equipment in there to try to keep it as clean as we can. So by closing that down in there, we looked at gaining some room. Is that
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
Okay. Delete door 103, remove pre-manufactured base and wall cabinets. This is in the plastic laminate counter. This is in the radio room. If you remember, we have 2 doors going into the radio room. We wanted to eliminate one of those doors.
Yeah.
Move that wall all over. As far as putting in the additional base cabinets and things, that would be nice. If you would approve it. If not, we can just eliminate that door and maybe get some type of a locker or something to put in there so we can put books or a cabinet.
I was gonna say, we could probably be better off if we eliminate the door, that would save us money.
Right.
And then B, we could buy some file cabinets, those nice heavy-duty commercial file
Okay.
cabinets for, $500 a piece, and that's gonna save us a ton of money and give us plenty of storage in there.
So we're going to remove, do you agree?
Remove the one door.
I think we can agree to remove the door. Do we have to make a decision about
No.
what we're going to do with the new wall?
No.
No.
Okay, let's agree to that.
But I'm saying, I was just adding that in there, but we can do
Yeah.
that later on. Let's just remove the one
Yeah.
door.
So remove the door and not worry about the countertops
So we're
and
not worried
the
about
base
the air
cabinets,
conditioning
right?
with the other door in and out,
Okay.
yeah.
That's the sketch for the 10C and the 101D. That's the sketch that we have, and that's part of the countertop sketch that deals with that door opening, putting the countertop on there, so we're not going to do that. The next page, page number 6, delete concrete thickened slab for the extractor and relocate stainless steel sink. What we're going to do, that's in the decon room. We're going to remove that pedestal or that concrete curb that the dry extractor machine's went on. At number 3 we're only going to have 2 dry extractor machines. One will be at 3's and the other one's going to be located at number 4's fire station. So we'll have 2 places for the guys to wash their gear. We don't think it's necessary to have a dry extractor machine, a $6,000 machine, at every firehouse to wash gear. Okay, so we're going to eliminate that curb, and then we're going to go ahead and deduct $506 on that. We're going to rearrange that stainless steel sink to another wall to give us more storage area in that room.
Good.
Number 7 is eliminate that dirty restroom. That's that restroom right off the back apparatus floor. We call it a dirty restroom because when the guys come back from the runs, they can go in there, if they have their clothes. We're going to remove that, remove the plumbing in there, and we're going to open up that wall, basically remove the interior wall, and open that wall up to the EMS room. So we'll have one large storage room, which right now we don't have any real large storage rooms. We'll have the EMS room, which is about a 6 by 8 foot room, and then we'll have that restroom, which was about a 10 by 10 room. So we'll have all that area for storage, and there'll only be one
We
door.
already did that because we voted it through to plumbing, plumbing reduced today.
Well, cool, so I'm not gonna worry about it, thank you. I appreciate that.
Save you some time.
And money.
And money. Yeah, that is a significant savings, and I was hoping that if I get enough significant savings, you would possibly look at the flooring material.
We want to look at the floor.
Okay. Number 8, add door number 113, provide that translucent glazing on the side light and the door. That was
That's the privacy issue.
That's a privacy issue in the doors in the back for the
Yeah.
guys from the lockers to the, that was a
Yeah,
yes?
that's
Okay. As far as the number 9, that's on your plate. I think you were going to approve that today to
We
review.
already did that.
Okay. Number 10, delete the 2 exit signs in the corridor. I think that's a no-brainer. Those are the
Yeah.
2 that we didn't need. If we do put those on there, then we have to change the swing of the doors because the exit indicates you have to swing it you have to swing out
Yeah.
any exit, so we have to, that's okay.
Because I redid the one and then they took it out.
Right. Add the floor drains to the restrooms. That's just adding the floor drains to the shower. And I think that was already a change.
That's already done.
Directive, yes.
They're already in. But I don't know why they charged us extra when that was already added in the original plumbing scheme. And
Yeah, I thought the original
So there shouldn't be
plumbing
any
was
extra
in the
money in that
floor.
one.
We were trying to figure that out too.
Right.
No extra money in that, and there shouldn't be extra days on the, what do you call it, either on the geothermal system, because now they're not gonna have to go underneath the concrete.
I did find out today too that they believe, and we'll have to ask Harp on Monday when I meet with them, and Tom at number 3's fire station to take care of the issues that still remain there, but we do believe that we instructed them to put plastic pipe under the concrete, so in the future we could run sprinkler lines to the grass. If that's the case, that would reduce maybe that price that you got a little bit.
Well, it did, because we found out already from
Oh, you did?
Plus Russell today, when I was at the meeting, they said that they already ran the conduits underneath that property.
Okay, so we
They
should,
went underneath this one too, but we also looked at the possibility of heating the runway 50 feet out, which was $15,000. We don't know if that's a justifiable cost, or if it could be done through the geothermal system.
right.
But they still have to put some piping in there.
Well, I will tell you this, if they use the same furnace unit that they use at the 3 station now, if they buy the same manufacturers, those water heaters are on those units. They can remove them from there, add them to the ones at number 3, the new number 2 station, and they would be able to heat the water using the geothermal units.
That's what I was recommending, but they wanted to put a gas-fired heater, which I thought was ridiculous.
Yeah, because
That's what they put in the change order from what I got from CNR.
okay. Well, if they buy the same units, the reason that that's all they had when they installed them, so they gave us the water heaters on those geothermal units, they're not being used, because we had the solar panel on the roof. So if they remove them from there and put them on the new ones, that might be a savings for us as far as
It's
warming
too
the water.
late to heat the runway over there.
Yeah, it is. The cutting board is one of the items that we talked about. This is a nice to have. Add a cutting board to that countertop. This is something that one of the guys could probably come up with something in the future. It would enable them to have that sink, because it's a 36-inch sink. It's ADA accessible, so somebody in a wheelchair can get up. They say we have to have that. If they put a cutting board across it, we can use it as a prep area. So that's something that,
I think we should do that.
I think we can get one for free from when we purchased our stove. If we're going to the
Well,
same
that
thing
would
we bought our
be-
stove,
that would
they'll
be
throw
good.
one in for the deal.
that would be good.
So let's just say we're gonna do that, but we'll take care of us
Okay.
getting it instead of Midwest getting it.
All right. Number 13 is the shower. 111 and 112 provide blocking for the shower grab bars and the shower seat, but do not install them. I asked Dave Johnson if we could possibly not install those, because it really makes the showers a lot skinnier. So he said yes, they could just put the blocking in. I don't know why they're charging us extra, because I would imagine the blocking has to be in there anyway. So I'm going to ask Tom about this one.
Yeah, just tell them to leave them like they're gonna install them, but leave them alone, or we could have them installed and just remove them ourselves afterwards.
Right.
Why don't we just leave one up alone instead of adding $361 to
Okay.
not put them in? That's ridiculous.
But the cost of providing additional blocking behind the wall to fasten them to is, we're trying to figure
But
out.
they've already got it there in the original specs.
There should be studs and stuff back there to
But
support
they
that.
they're already putting the additional blocking in
Right.
for the shower grab bars that are there, and if we leave specs alone, it shouldn't cost us a dime.
It shouldn't, so, and we're going to remove the
We can
ones,
remove them ourselves,
Yeah.
just, cover them up.
we are going to remove the ones from number 3's fire station, and if we do get someone in a wheelchair in the future, we'll put them
I'll
back
give you
on.
half of that to do it yourself, Kevin.
I'll do it myself for free.
On number 14, delete the security devices and doors 104, 101A, and 119. What I did is I asked them to reduce that. The card readers will be on all exterior doors, so we're going from six card readers to 3 card readers. They'll just be the exterior doors, and I apologize, I had your IDs with me to bring over, and when that run came in, I just grabbed my booklet and I left. So I do have your card readers, and I'll put them in your mailboxes
Thank
for
you.
you, so you will be able to get into the stations.
Yeah.
So I will do
I'm there
that.
all the time, and I can't get in.
I think that's on purpose.
I agree.
Knock on the door, nobody answers.
So I think that would be since we're saving money on that, I think that would be a yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Relocate push button stations for overhead doors. At the old number 3's fire station, as you came out the day room of the dorm, the garage door openers were right on that wall. They
Right on the
pushed
wall
it,
on the side.
and as they walked over to the rig, the door was already going up. By the time they got in the rig, the door was up. They started the rig, and the way they went.
And now they're by the doors.
Now they have to go over to the doors, push the button, go to the rig, sit in the rig, and wait for the doors to go up. So we're going to
Why do they
relocate
charge us
those.
more money to relocate them? They're gonna be installed either way.
Well, that's something that I can talk to him about.
I'll
then,
talk to
too.
Sam about it, scream.
Okay.
We're giving them the money for their trench, he doesn't have to charge us to relocate the buttons, they gotta be still installed.
And then I believe the last but not least, update the CO2 detectors in the apparatus bay. We're going to save $1,500 on
Yeah,
that.
that's good too.
So those are the ones that we had talked about, just if I may.
And I think we're all in agreement, I'm not speaking for my other 2 fellow trustees here, that on the flooring, as long as we have the price that's set in 3 different bids,
Okay.
Because I don't want it just one price and we have to pay Midwest's price. Let's go through 3 different contractors and get our own price.
No, I think that's right.
So you want three
Three
separate bids?
different
Okay.
prices on it because, we don't know if somebody's getting a kickback or whatever, if there's a favored person, so let's just make sure it's done all above board and right and legal.
Okay, one of the things, if I may too, real quickly, is I want to start getting lined up, like the mattresses,
Yeah.
the Lazy Boy, the gear lockers, all those things. I want to start getting those vendors lined up and prices in, so we can start that process, so when they're ready to go, we just go ahead and here it is, install it. So,
That's fine.
okay, I'll start that process. That's
Get the
all.
best price you can, look at sales and whatever you gotta get.
Well, I got Lazy Boys for $275, and I guarantee you won't find a Lazy
Probably
Boy
not.
like that for anywhere else, because I got a
That's a good
buddy.
price.
I got a buddy in the furniture
Good deal.
business.
On a lot of these change orders, it'll say like add 5 days, add 4 days.
Uh-huh.
So by approving these, we're approving that we're going to delay the project. So eventually, we're really going to add all these days up, and that's going to.
But that's an interesting question, is that, I don't think you need to accumulate those. You
Right.
wouldn't take
Yeah, I was wondering, is it
It's not
5 days
per
maximum,
day.
is it 5, 5, 5, pretty soon you're in
Yeah,
December.
it's not a consecutive sentence.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
I'm gonna explain to you why they're doing that, because they were worried about the time frame on the building, and since they started late, and they had all the delays, they're trying to add extra days on. This really shouldn't be part of this. They're trying to add extra days down to cover themselves, so they have an extra 20, 30 days, so they're not being penalized for going over.
But
And I told them, due to the delays, I don't think either one of us, I don't know for sure how the other two would feel, but I said that we're not gonna penalize you if you're 10 or 15 days over on this project because of the delays. They were unforeseen, we didn't know about them, we're stuck with them, we know where we're at right now, so just let's get the job done.
Well, they did add three weeks.
I know.
For the utilities, but some of these other ones, where they're adding 4 to 5 days, that's what I was
Yeah,
wondering.
let's have that clarified.
Yes.
Give us a new date, here's what we want, all these changes now, what date.
Because we're only allowed 220 days, I think it was total for the project.
That's a good way to do it. But, yeah.
That's your first job, John, so you take care of that next week.
So you're gonna take care of that?
It's not working yet, he doesn't have the answer.
No,
I'll take him next week on
Okay.
the site, introduce him with Tom, and Tom and him can sit down and come
Sure.
up with a negotiated price with those.
I mean, I'm just-
Bring it back to us.
if I got something on me, I'll do it, I just wanna know what's on my plate, that's all.
Yeah.
No, you got enough on your plate right now, deal with what you gotta deal with.
Okay.
And while we're talking about that, I want to apologize, I am going out of town tomorrow, I'm going to be gone all next week, so I'm not going to be here your first
Oh,
week.
good for you.
No.
I'm so out of here.
That's okay, you got me and John to deal with, it's okay.
Where you going?
So, Disney World.
All right.
I'm going to Disney.
Yeah.
It's our 34th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I don't know which one of you's up for sainthood, but somebody certainly deserves it. 34 years.
Charlie's up for it. So anyway, I apologize that I won't be here to welcome you, but I am coming back.
You will be there.
So, is there anything else that we need to talk
No,
about?
let's
Okay.
adjourn.
I'll offer
Well, this is your motion 10-402.
motion 10-402, motion
To adjourn. Second, let's go.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Ms. Contrada?
yes. So because I'm not gonna be here, just make sure, I'm gonna go check all the stuff I need to sign, but if
We
somebody
already
else.
did. We already signed almost everything.
Okay, good, well, I'll still check.
All right.
But, if somebody, if they need 2 signatures, it'll be you guys.
I got 10
Here, John,
o'clock.
these are your copies. And I left hers in her mailbox, and I got mine in mine stuff. Did you want a copy of that geothermal system stuff? Yeah. I'll give you a copy too, because I got another copy in my office.
Yeah. Very good.
All right.
I
just got class. Just keep your ears open.
Is that okay with you?